Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. It's extremely, extremely exciting to have Rabbi Kalish here. I want to thank Moshe and Jennifer Lairfield for planting the seed. I think it was maybe a year or two ago. Ralph Gelly also helping out, planting some seeds, and Joey Katz, who's not even here, who helped seal the deal. And Baruch Hashem, it's really an honor and a privilege to have Rabbi Kalish with us. There are some yeshivas that they have a tremendous impact on the Talmidim, and it makes them a great yeshiva. And some yeshivas have a tremendous impact on the community in which they reside, and that's an even more powerful yeshiva. And then there are very, very rare yeshivas that affect the entire Klal Yisrael, and they send ripples through the entire Jewish world. And I don't think there's any place you go that you haven't heard of Waterbury Yeshiva. And what Rabbi Kalish has done is not just impact the lives of thousands of Talmidim, but he's impacted the entire Jewish people. And I consider myself an honorary Talmid. I've never even met Rabbi Kalish before. And every single word he says speaks to my heart, it speaks to my neshama. And evidently, it's the same with all of Klal Yisrael. And it's such a special privilege to have him here tonight to share Divrei Torah, Divrei Chizuk with all of us here, North Miami Beach. And that's it. No. Okay. And we thank all the Talmidim for also showing up and for showing such love and respect for their Rebbe. And that's also just part of this amazing experience. I was told that when you host Rabbi Kalish, set up another 50 seats at least, because the Talmidim will show up. And it's amazing. So many of you I haven't even met before, but everybody looks like such holy, pure neshamas that are here to join together, to have his achdus together. And it's a pleasure to spend the evening with all of you here. Welcome to the shul, welcome to Israel, you're welcome anytime. But it's amazing to have you here with Rabbi Kalish.
Firstly, thank you to the Rav Marmer Shlita for your kind words and for hosting, for allowing myself, my family, my friends, my children are here. So I thank you, Rabbi Marmer. It's an honor to be here. I was Zayich a few years ago. A Bacher came to Yeshiva who I was very moved by his sweetness. In the Yeshiva of kindness, in the Yeshiva of sweetness, he stands out as a sweet person. And as I got to know Yehuda, he would tell me about his relationship with, first of all, I met his parents, but he would tell me about his Seder with his Zayda, who was the Rav as well of this shul for many, many decades. And then meeting Yehuda's family, the kindness of the Reb Moshe and his wife of the Lairfield Mishpacha is an unusual kindness. The chesed that pours forth. When I meet Reb Moshe, it's always a Dvar Torah, he's a Ben Torah, he's a learner of Torah. He's somebody who lives Torah and learns Torah, and the chesed that pours forth from that house, the amount of guys. Just now I come straight from the airport, together with my wife and children, the Suda that we would, Kisuda Shleima B'Shaita. But in a real way, any need that comes up, if it's mentioned, there's a need of a bacher, there's this need, this comes up with incredible zrizus, incredible care, incredible love that flows from that home. The way people are taken care of is something that's tremendously appreciated. So it's an honor to be in this Makom Torah, in this Beis Knesset, in this special place where Yehuda grew up. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to share Divrei Torah and to sing together. So thank you to the Lairfeld Mishpacha. The Rebbitzin is here. Rebbitzin Lairfeld, it's a zchus to be in your presence, to be together with your family. I thank you for that. Birshos, Rev Luban Shlita, the Chavetz Chaim Rashiva, it's a covet and appreciated to be in the presence of Rabbi Luban. It's appreciated every single person that's here. There's a fresh chasna and Kala Yassi's here, then Shlomo Zalman and his wife are here. Just really an honor to be here. I want to introduce. I'm here together with Shlomo Guri, and we've been zeicha over the last couple of years. We've been zeicha to sing and talk and speak and listen to many, many thousands of Yidden over the last couple of years. Until Simchas Torah 3 years ago, I didn't travel so much. I like being home. I still like being home. I, Baruch Hashem, like being with my family. Baruch Hashem, I like being in yeshiva. I felt after Simchas Torah of 3 years ago, I felt a sense that I want to go around to our people. I want to be with Yidden. I want to meet Yidden. I want to sing with Yidden. I want to talk with Yidden. And it's something Shlomo has been such a loyal friend to go around. The last few years, he sang for thousands and thousands and thousands of Yidden. We've habranged, we've talked, we've just had an aliyah together, and I appreciate you, Shlomo, a lot, and I'm thankful you're here. I want to share, Bez Hashem, we'll share Divrei Torah, but I'd like, if we could start first, if we could sing together the Barditchever Niggin. I like tapping into this song, and I'd like to express the Barditchever wasn't his way he saw Yidden. If you study the Barditchever, it's not a sugya of exaggerated kindness. The name, Reb Levi Yitzchak's name, is a name very rooted in din. Levi, if somebody checks it out, I am a Levi. Kaihanim are chesed, Leviim are din. Yitzchak's a name of Gvura. And it's not the name you would typically think would be somebody who saw such goodness in Yidden. One would associate it with Midas HaChesed, and certainly it's in Am Yisrael. We all come from Avram Avinu, who was an Ayin Tov, who saw goodness in our people for sure, an Ayin Tov. And that's a midah, we're Talmidim, we're children of Avram Avinu. And certainly a Yid sees good in others, but the Yesod of the Barditchever was not rooted in some sort of exaggerated sense of try to see good in somebody. It's rooted in din. The Barditchever saw a Yid and lost his mind. Yidden are incredible. We're an amazing people. If we would let go of our stuff, our own insecurities, and we walk in as a butterfly to a room of Yidden, we would lose our mind. We're incredible people. A Yid is a big thing. A Yid is the neshama of a Yid is precious. The light of a Yid is something that's irreplaceable. The light of a Yid. And the Nukud of the Barditchever was that he was nishtaimim from Yidden. He was amazed, and he would see Yidden, and then the Yid would see in himself what the Barditchever saw in him. So the mile of a song without words is people can think what they want, and that certainly is everybody's right. I like praying in this song. I like praying for good eyes, both to see myself, what that means as a Yid, that it means a big thing, a Yid, Nishmas Yisrael, and to see it in others, to daven to Hashem to give us good eyes. We're an incredible people and irreplaceable, and they're different anhagos and different milos. Every beis medrash, every house, every place, every community of Yidden have different beautiful things to offer, but there's something beautiful in a Yid that's irreplaceable. I'd like to sing. We'll sing the Barditchever song together, and then Bez Hashem will learn Torah together. We'll sing other nigunim. But Shlomo, if we can sing together Barditchever. Thank you to every person who's joined. It's a Leil Shishi. It is Erev Shabbos. It's Leil Shishi. And I have seen in Yeshiva a tremendous want for Shabbos Kodesh, an attachment for Shabbos, a generation that's Echsoif Noam Shabbos, that wants to feel Shabbos, connect to Shabbos, wants to appreciate Shabbos. So I thank every person for being here, and I'd like to share as follows. In Parshas B'Shalach, in this week's Parsha, so Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, tells Am Yisrael a chiddush. We've gotten out of Mitzrayim after decades of torture. Hashem took us out with the Makkos. Hashem has taken us out of Mitzrayim, Yitzias Mitzrayim. And then in a shocking turn, Hashem tells Am Yisrael to head back to Piachirus, to very place, Pisaim, which was the place of Avdos, the place of Shibud, the place of stuckness, Pisaim. It was a stuck place, no Eved, nobody escapes from there. The place that expressed our stuckness in Mitzrayim. And we got out. It became Pisaim, became Picheres, became the place that marked our freedom. The Rebbeinu Shalom took us out from those Mitzarim, and we got out. We were Bnei Chayrin, and we're in the Midbar. And then Hashem tells Klal Yisrael to head back, Yeshuvu, return back, and a Chiddush Nifla, go back to Picheres, to that place that represents, that speaks about your freedom from Avdos. Go back there. And of course, this was to draw and serve the purpose of Parai sees Nevuchim Heim Ba'aretz and reattacks Klal Yisrael. And there's another Shibud Mitzrayim. We're now sitting and Parai attacks Klal Yisrael, and the Mefarshim, the Archaim HaKadosh Rishonim as well, and the Achrayim speak about what is this that Hashem said go back to Mitzrayim. We're out. We had a Yitzias Mitzrayim. And there becomes like a second Yitzias Mitzrayim. So much so, we have 2 days. We have the first days of Pesach, and we have Achron Shel Pesach, that's from Parshas B'Shalach, Kriyas Yamsuf, the second part of Yitzias Mitzrayim. What is this? Go back to Shibud, go back to Mitzrayim, everything we've escaped from, everything Hashem took us away from, and we're sent back to Mitzrayim, a Chiddush. And it's certainly something we have to think about. The Geula from Mitzrayim is a sugya. It's our sugya. It's a sugya that yearly we have to think about and connect to and relate to our own Mitzrayim and Yitzias Mitzrayim, our own Galus, our own Geula, the Geula Prati of every Yid, the Galus Prati and the Galus and Geula of our people. And yearly we have to study what it's saying, what we're hearing, what we're being taught. The Dvar Hashem that's ever present, Dvar of Chayim Mekayamim. We have to study what's this second Mitzrayim, the return to Mitzrayim, and leaving again. So this is not the only place that it says it like this, but I'd like to speak from the Chedushei Harim. The Archaim HaKadosh says Al Derech said it's not the only place it said. This is where I'm quoting from, and this is where I've seen it most recently from. And the Chedushei Harim taught as follows. The pasuk in Shiur Hashirim. The pasuk says, "Moshcheni acharecha narutza." Pasuk in Shiur Hashirim. And there's a famous. I want to just say a word. Rabbonim wasn't looking to say something cute. Rabbonim was absorbing Torah. Rabbonim demanded of me and you, when you hear a word, like the Kutzker said something sharp, he wasn't trying to say like a sharp thing. They weren't saying words. And when you hear something from Rabbonim demanded of his Talmidim, that when you study Torah, listen to what Hashem's telling you. Hashem's talking to me, He's talking to you. When we read the Torah, be present to what the Torah is saying. Hashem's talking to us. Did you notice that I'm going to make a crazy guess. Reb Marner's going to speak this Shabbos. Is that true? Okay, one. That's a good yes. The Rav's going to speak. Let me take a wild guess. The Rav's going to speak on Parshas B'Shalach. Right, winter year, I'm going out on a limb to guess. The Rav's probably going to share from Parshas B'Shalach. Mecha Tesi. Why is he going to say B'Shalach? Maybe there's a better word now from Lech Lecha, from Dvarim. The Rabbanim, what stam like it's a shtick, it's a rabbinic. It's not study our people. What happens by Am Yisrael, what happens in shuls. Minig Yisrael is deep. Minig Yisrael is Torah. Minig Yisrael is Kodesh. Why are Rabbanim quiet? Why is that a good guess that the Rav's going to speak in B'Shalach? Maybe this week will be a good word. Maybe something more relevant. The last hostage came home to Am Yisrael. Maybe it will be something more in a different parsha. Maybe lights coming at us. Maybe there'll be other Rabbanim speak in that week's parsha because we understand. Am Yisrael understands. If Kol Yisrael is reading Parshas B'Shalach, then it's talking to us right now because that's how we understand Hashem's Torah. If one Yachid's learning something, it's talking to them. If Gans Klal Yisrael is reading, if all of Klal Yisrael is reading Parshas B'Shalach, Kol Yisrael is reading it, so then if we're making a Sheva Brachas during the week, we're going to assume that in the Parsha that Kol Yisrael is reading, Hashem's talking to me. There's something about my Simcha that's in B'Shalach. That's what's happening. It's not a shtick. You understand what I'm Shlomo Zalman? It's not a chap, like maybe speak from this. See if you can. No, we learn B'Shalach. Learn that way. But Be'emes learn that way, Shlomo Zalman. Be'emes learn that way. It's pashut from the time I started reading Reb Bunim's Torah and being more honest to my own inner story. So when I'm learning Torah, when I learn the Parsha, I learn me. I'm learning with my story. And not forced. You will see Hashem talking to your story. When I grew up, my Rebbe would say shmuzim. I couldn't believe it how often it was mamish the thing I was thinking about. To the point it would be like, Rebbe, is there Ruach HaKodesh in the Beis Medrash? Maybe. But it was strange. I'd come to a shiur, and the Rebbe was mamish. My Rebbe would say things that was mamish last night, so he's reading my mind. It was only later learning Rabbanim's Torah more and other things that I came to realize that's when you learn Torah from a Rebbe. He's talking to Hashem's through your Rebbe, Lidrash Es Elokim. He's teaching Torah, of course, but of course, any person goes to a shiur. Any person comes to study Torah can expect he's learning Torah. And Hashem's talking to us. Our Creator is talking to us and telling us exactly what we need to hear in the Torah. But of course, and Reb Bunim was learning Torah and demanded of his Talmidim and lived this himself, that his Torah wasn't a cute vart. He was connecting and hearing the Dvar Hashem and asked and demanded of Yidden to learn Torah in such an oifen. To ask, what's Hashem saying to me? And he would ask big Talmid Chachamim, what did Hashem say to you? They'd want to faher. He was a tremendous Talmud Chacham. But he would ask Talmid Chacham, what did Hashem say to you? He wanted to hear, what's your chiddush? What did you hear? What was said? What was said? What did the pasuk say to you? I was on the way to Chicago, and I was getting to see my son and my grandson, Baruch Hashem, to see my grandson. It stood out in the parsha that Yaakov Avinu saying about his grandson, he's like a son. That sugya, like things opened up, things became more clear, I was more interested, wondering more, and noticing much more. Come with your sugya and learn Torah. Hear what Hashem's saying to you. So Rabbunim said on the pasuk, Mashcheni acharecha norutzi, he said as follows. He said that a Yid is saying to Hashem, Mashcheni. Rebbeinu Shalom, when I feel you want me, Mashcheni, pull me close. Rabbunim said, one learns the sugis in Kedusha and Avchaf Beis, there are two ways to be kaina Baal Chai with Meshicha. There are two ways to be Meishech Baal Chai. You could bang it, Ikisha b'makel, you hit the Baal Chai with a stick, and it runs, and the person is kind of a Meshicha because the animal went machmasai. The animal went because of him. That's one way to be kind of Baal Chai. Or kaira v'hiba. If you call the animal and it comes, is another way to be kind of Baal Chai. Said Rabbunim, Hashem could do Meshicha in two ways. Hashem could do Meshicha that Yidden go through tzaras. Hikisha b'makel, you get smacked. And the Yid says, Hashem, Hashem, and we run after Hashem. That's Hikisha b'makel, that's one way of getting close to Hashem. But he said there's another way, Kaira v'hipa. Call and he comes. Like what Rabbunim is saying is that the greatest way a Yid serves Hashem is when a Yid recognizes that his avodah counts. It matters. One of the greatest things I learned from my father, I've spent a lot of my life learning from Avi Meiri, and I'm spending tzaddikim b'misas and kruyim chayim learning his Torah. And one of the things I could say, one of the greatest things I feel privileged to have learned from him is the value of a Yid's Torah. He said many shiurim a week. He said a lot. He gave many. He spent his lifetime learning Torah and teaching Torah. There were a couple of decades, 2 daf yomis a day, teaching in 11th grade for over 40 years. He was a Rosh Yeshiva, a Svardish Yeshiva, a Kollel. He was teaching Torah his whole life. And I saw when he taught Torah, he was saying Dvarim Neflam. Some people would come to the shiur. Often there were brilliant people asking brilliant questions, but then there were people sleeping through shiurim. There were people who would ask questions. It was like frustrating. And I saw my father did not like Leitzanos. And to ask him, is that guy like Abba, he gets anything from the shiur? It was Leitzanos. A Yid told me that for 14 years, I went to your father's shiur and slept for 14 years. 14 years, the Yid said I slept. So why do you keep coming back? It's a Meshuggah. He came to a shiur, we're busy people. The Yid would leave his family and for 14 years, make a tasting. I'll tell you why he kept coming back. Because my father was machshav, it's a big thing, a Yid came to learn Torah. Big, huge. It was like, it's a light, she'enka. Who said maybe his light's the biggest? This Yid pushing himself to come learn Torah. He was machshav. The Yid said, then I finished Shas 3 times, and I know, well, for the next 21 years, the Yid told me. But he slept through 14 years of shiur. He was dragging. The Yid's trying to learn Torah. He considered it Leitzanos to ask, does the Yid, how stark does he understand? The Yid's going to learn Torah. What are you talking? He had dragged his body from his house. He's a machshav Torah and going to learn Torah. You're mamish aletz, not to appreciate. Hisel is a big thing. The Yid came to learn Torah. The cheshivas to the Yid. The greatest draw, Bachram recently have articulated something to me that I could relate to my own avodah, and maybe you could relate to also. Guys have described, if a guy is missing for weeks on end, he's missing shiur, he's not going, that's one tzara. Guys have described the deeper tzara. I drag myself to shiur, the chevra is like on fire, arguing, and I don't feel anything. Big tzar, real people, real stories, it's a big tzar. A Yid wants to understand and be present that his avodah, his prayer, his Torah, his thought on Torah, his chesed matters tremendously. And said Rabbunim, what we're saying to Hashem is Mashcheni, bring me close, allow me to know that you want my avodah. Because when I feel, Kaira, you're calling to me, You're saying you want me? Acharecha narutza. I'll run like a tiger after you, Hashem. It's interesting. The Graz Medayik, Mashcheni is a Lashon Yachid. Mashcheni. Drag me acharecha narutza, as we will run. It doesn't say arutza. But of course, when Kol Yachid v'Yachid, not Hashem, Am Yisrael. He wants Am. It's true. He wants Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael means me, and it means you. It's not a theoretical. It means me and you. You, me. Am Yisrael, us. Mashcheni. Kol Yachid v'Yachid should know that he's wanted, that he's essential. His avodah counts. Then acharecha narutza, as a people, when every Yachid v'Yachid knows his avodah counts and is wanted, acharecha narutza, the entirety of our people will run after you, Hashem. We'll run through walls. We'll run, nothing will stop us. Acharecha narutza. Is the Pshat Yitzias Mitzrayim explains the Archaim HaKadosh. Yitzias Mitzrayim was Chesed Hashem. And Hashem saying, I want you. I'm interested in you, Am Yisrael. Now go back in with the Yediyah. Mashcheni, I want you. I want you, I'm interested in all the Nisei Mitzrayim, all the Makkos, which said to Am Yisrael, Hashem's interested in us. Kol Yachid v'Yachid. People saw in their own sorrows. They saw in it come on the specific mitzvah who tortured them. Midrashim on before. So every Yid had a Hakara Mashcheni, I want you. Now Hashem said, go back and let's see Acharecha Narutza. And this time by Kriyas Yamsuf, there was a schus of Klal Yisrael. We ran into the Yam, Acharecha Narutza. We were willing, we jumped in the Yam, Mamish, Ad Kedei Mavis Mamish, with Emunah B'Hashem. Acharecha narutza, we had the schus. The second time, the second Yitzhak was a schus of Klal Yisrael, a madrega of banim, a madrega of closeness, of tremendous kirva. He uses the word banim a lot. The Chedush Arim points out, associated with Kriyas Yamsuf, Ro Banecha. Over a few times he shows examples which it specifically speaks about banim, the kirva that Am Yisrael expressed to Hashem, that we ran after Hashem acharecha narutza. And this call, this realization, we daven to Hashem mashcheni. We ask Hashem, let us be zeicha. Sometimes it's hard to sense this. Sometimes this is the galus itself. We feel, all of us could struggle. There's such a struggle. My Torah, is it worth? It's interesting specifically, we're Zeiche, Baruch Hashem, that was Zeiche, Am Yisrael's growing, and there was a day like, I think about when my father decided to go to yeshiva. He went to camp, and he was in a mixed yeshiva, and Rebelsky and other tzaddikim convinced my father to go to a different yeshiva, and he was like celebrating, he's coming to yeshiva. There was mamish, tupim u'mechoilis, mamish celebrations. With our great ashiris, Hashreinu Shezachinu, we have a big people. Today, we're trying to get this boy in, to get her in. Could she get into the school? Is it possible that seminary? We beg Hashem, we mispalo, Mashcheni. A yid, avoida v'yid. Could the girl get in? Could the boy get, please? His avoida, her avoida is irreplaceable. We can't do without. We're just celebrating this week that Am Yisrael was busy davening. We were saying Tillim in all our shuls on Shabbos, our yeshivas on Shabbos, and worried for the Yachid. 1 year, there was me. I was the hostage and you were the hostage. It was a sugi of an entire people were stopped from one. It's not about numbers. One. Kinish ba'achiv. One person, and we can't go weiter. We don't have extras in our people. Mashcheni. We're mispalel to Hashem that kol yachid v'yachid shutchat. His Shemona Esrei, her Shemona Esrei. His tefillah, his chesed, his Torah. Our Torah, my own learning for 4 minutes, for 3 minutes, for 1:50. It's not a scholastic race. Each yachid v'yachid's kiddush shemayim. Sincere avodas Hashem is chashuv and irreplaceable in our people, and wanted and necessary, and a light that we can't do without, a light that Borei Olam wants. Mashcheni, be'emes we should have. We don't know. We have no idea. I was speaking to a yid today who was involved in the mental health field. So I told him, people that are in fix, sometimes chinuch could be like fix people fields. And this avada chinuch, we want each bacher to be huge, to be a Talmud Chacham, a tzaddik, hasagas for sure. But we also have to admit and acknowledge we don't know the tikkun of each neshama. We don't. And we're allowed to shoot for and push and encourage for sure. But each neshama, to know before, we don't know. So this person davened beautifully and said Shema Yisrael with sincerity and erlich. It's big. We don't know. We don't know the scorecard. It's not kol yachid v'yachid. Each person, their avodas Hashem, their sincere service of Hashem, Mashcheni. So I want to ask Shlomo. There's a song that just Shlomo will sing Mashcheni, but then you will all sing together a different version that we'll all be able to sing together. But I want to be mispalim on this Leil Shishi Mashcheni Hashem. On this week where you sent us back to Mitzrayim, Tevi Yitzhak, that after we experience Yitzias Mitzrayim all our lives, the sense that we're wanted, the understanding, the deep awareness that our avodah counts, and when we experience, and as we have experienced that Acharecha Narutza will run, nothing will stop us. When a person chaps this and lives with this and knows the truth of this, Acharecha Narutza will run after you. That's valuable, it's precious. Will mamish run ad k'dei mavis through walls, through mountains, over anything. Nothing will stop us. Acharecha Narutza will run after you, Hashem. let's all sing together. Shlomo Zalman, let's all sing the Adon Ashcheni together. Massive.
Sa
Kevin, let's sing Visham, and then we'll share the Visham. If I can ask before we learn together another piece of Torah, I want to ask that somebody here in the room, Shlomo Zalman Resnick, he's relatively new to the Florida scene. Him and his wife Tanya, very special couple, and I want to express. We were zeicha one year. My wife and I were zeicha. Anybody, my kids could say Eidos, they were there. We were together for a Pesach one year. And Shlomo Zalman sang the Zmiris that year, hundreds of Yidden, no gozma, hundreds. It was a hotel, maybe 1,000 people there. Hundreds of people came by the table to sing with Shlomo Zalman. Do you remember that year, Shlomo Zalman? I saw about 1,000 people at the hotel, many hundred. We became like a tiny family by the end. Mamish. And Shlomo Zalman singing. I'm singing is not I'm a Levi, but I enjoy music and I sing anyway, but staying on key and the likes. When I'm near Shlomo, I can be on key. When one Yid's near another Yid, we help key each other. But if I can ask, before you leave Shlomo Zalman, if you can come up for one song, Shlomo Zalman. You'll sing with Shlomo, one song with Shlomo. The Mikdash
Oder Schleim, genau.
You know the Mikdash?
If he has the mic, I know.
Not a lot of
Yeah.
I want to say about this song. First of all, it's a beautiful, the Shabbos song, the Mikdash Tov. Yidden are always thinking about the Beis Hamikdash, thinking about Eretz Yisrael. But I want to express that Shlomo Guri and his brother Chaim, the two brothers. So we were Zaycha during COVID. During COVID, I don't know if Florida knows much about COVID, but during COVID, so we were on Zoom together. It's interesting. Today, like people say afterwards, people thought we'll all do Zooms. Zooms don't work. It's not a thing. Like the guy said, an off day, let's Zoom. No, it doesn't work. But it's interesting, when that's what you have, it's perfect. It was like unusual Siyata D'Shmai. We were together many, many days, over 1,000 people. Many, many days, well over. Sometimes there were thousands together. It didn't make sense. And there was Siyata D'Shmai, the Torah, the Tefillah. It was like an unusual togetherness. Crazy Siyata D'Shmai. A lady told me, a lady from California, the lady said that she has a nephew, a very yeshiva shagay, Geshmaka yeshiva bacher, and he said to his aunt, you have to hear my Rebbe, this Rav Kalish. Simcha Kalish, he's unbelievable, you would love him. He said to his aunt, and during COVID, he hears Dan Kalish mixed up this lady with Rav Kalish from Eretz Yisrael, and she hops on the Zooms and she sees the box and she doesn't look like my nephew's type. And she listened for months straight. We've had some shaykhs to this lady. She what was happening? I met a younger man in Chicago, went through a lot in his life. He told me that the Negunim that Shlomo and Chaim did, he told me he's a chashav, he's a rebbe, he's somebody teaching a lot of Torah, Marbitz Torah. He said that it saved his life. The Seyyid said he said I was at a very low time in my life. Said I could say, he was crying when he told me it saved my life. Shlomo and Chaim would sing every Erev Shabbos L'Mikdash Tov. We were no longer boxes we were all pulled into the same room. That song, whenever Shlomo sings L'Mikdash Tov, I think about the Erev Shabbos that Chaim and Shlomo would sing Tzazam and L'Mikdash Tov. So I'm going to ask these brothers, Shlomo Zalman and Shlomo. Everybody's invited to join in, but let's sing L'Mikdash Tov. You take this mic, I'll take this mic. It's important I have no mic for music.
Kalish,
I want to share one more idea in Torah, one more Torah, totally a different topic for a few minutes. But I want to express, when we're in Connecticut, we're at Lel Shishi, it's already 9:30, it's late. In Connecticut, people would be here, so where else could you be? Outside is a foot of snow. So I'm sure there's still schar each time people sitting. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking the guys are here. It's quite warm outside. A lot of places people could be. It's appreciated. Olam's here, we're singing, sharing divrei Torah. But I do want to talk a little bit about snow. I'm just coming from a foot, so I am going to speak a drip. I'm going to just speak a little about snow. Mo, it's that, you remember the stuff, the white stuff that falls? I appreciate being with Reb Mo Laserson a lot. I appreciate you here. I appreciate the matzah you made in your house when you invited Shlomo and I then, but thank you for being here. Hashem promises Avram Avinu that when to be in Mitzrayim, v'avadim v'inu oisam arba mea shana, v'achri ken yetzu b'rchosh gadol. Meir, then Hashem promises we're going to leave wealthy. Achrei ken yetzu b'rchosh gadol, by the bris ben absarim, Parshas Lech Lecha, Hashem promises Avram Avinu that will leave Mitzrayim. The banim of Avram Avinu, us, Am Yisrael, we're going to leave b'rchosh gadol very wealthy. And there are two kiyumim, if you will. There are two, it's confusing and needs thought, and Svarim speak about it. We become rich twice. One, in last week's parsha, where we borrow millions of dollars, we borrow money from the Mitzrayim, Vayishalum Ishmeish Reyehu, we borrow money from the Mitzrayim. And then later in this week's parsha, by the Yam Suf, when we become much more wealthy. We became wealthy the first time, but fabulous wealth by Kriyas Yamsuf, with the vanquishing, with the death of the Mitzrayim. We become wildly wealthy later on, much, much wealthier. And it needs thought why we become wealthy twice. That's something we should and could think about. But Menachem, what I want to say over something from the Chedushei Arim that I think is really important. And the Chedushei Arim says, he asks a question, why do we borrow the money? Hashem promised us wealth, such an unusual wealth. Borrowed money? And the first kiyum of the promise, Hashem says, B'matusa minaychu, Gemara Brachas, Reb Moshe is learning, I ask you a favor, Am Yisrael. We just wanted out of Mitzrayim. We wanted to leave. We weren't thinking a lot about money. We wanted out of Mitzrayim. And Hashem says, B'matusa minaychu, I have a favor to ask. Please, can you borrow from the Mitzrayim? We had Chaim, the Mitzrayim fell in love with us. After being avodim for decades and a lower class, the Mitzrayim went wild from us and lent us tons of money. And that was the first kiyum. And Hashem says, so like Avram Avinu shouldn't man me, that avodim v'inu oisam kiyum behem, v'achrei ken yetzu b'rchosh gadol loy kiyum behem. So borrow money, right? Winter, it's a pella. Why was it borrowed money? Why did we borrow? That's a fun, Nasi, a good kasha. Why should it be borrowed money? Why should that be a kiyum of Yetzu B'Chush Gadol, money that wasn't even ours? A good kasha, Ralph, stark kasha. Why should the money be borrowed money? The kasha is strong. Nobody has I don't want a monopoly on a terrace, is what to think about. That the money of our richness was first, later it became ours, but it was already a kiyum of Achrei Ken Yetzu B'Chush Gadol. That's so interesting. Money that we had to return, we owed to the Mitzrayim. By Yishalom, we borrowed it. Such an interesting kiyum of Achrei Ken Yetzu B'Chush Gadol. There's a Gemara Baba Kama. It's a Gemara Baba Kama. The Gemara Baba Kama says that when somebody has a field has a property and they have stones on their property and you're clearing off your property, you're not allowed to take the stones from your property and put them on Rishus HaRabim. You're not allowed to do that. You can't throw the stones. I have a guy that I mamish don't like him so much. I struggle with him. There's a guy, I can tell you which house this is. When you're driving down Boyden and you make a left on Cook Street, the second house on the right, the guy yearly, there's a foot of snow. There's like 20 inches right now in Blue Ridge, Connecticut. And this guy, I didn't see him this year do it. To give him credit. He's a guy. Maybe he's done tshuva. Maybe he's done tshuva by now. I've thought of knocking on his door and talking over with him. I haven't done it yet. But this fellow, for years, I see this guy. He has a snow blower, which is wonderful. He should have all the snow blowers. Excellent. He has a snow, but what the guy does is he takes the snow from his property and blows it to the middle of the street. It's like a pellet. I want to bring a Baba Kama, La Yiskal Adam Rishus HaRabim. This guy takes his snow. You're supposed to, with the snowblower, you're supposed to face it to your property, and you take it from your sidewalk to your grass. My neighbor, Shmuley Gross, he has his geschmack machine. He cleans us all off. But of course, he faces the machine. You take the snow from the sidewalk onto the grass. This fellow takes the snow from his property and puts it in the street. Mamish making dangers for all the cars that come by us. That's selfishness. He takes from his mamish, he doesn't know. Goyim don't know Torah. And this guy has to learn. Yid needs to teach him. Probably I should knock on his door, but I didn't see him do it this year. But for many years, there could be somebody else knocked on his door already. I don't know. Maybe they learned the Gemara, maybe. But the fellow Lemaisa, the Gemara says that you're not allowed to take from your Rishus and put to Rishus HaRabim. Because you're not allowed to do that. The Gemara says, Maisa, there's a story with a Chassid Echad, who sees a Yid, a Chassid's walking, and he sees a Yid taking rocks from his property and putting in Rishus HaRabim. And he says to the Yid, why are you taking rocks from the Rishus that's not yours and putting it into your Rishus? Imagine I would knock on the guy's door and I would tell the guy that why are you taking the snow from not your property and putting it into your property? That's what the Chassid says to the Yid. He says, what? Reika, empty head, empty one. He calls him a Reika. Very interesting, very sharp language. He says, empty head. Why are you taking rocks from not your property and putting it in your property? Lig olav. The Yid laughs at the Chassid. He says, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You're foolish. Liyamin, the Yid has to sell his property and becomes a wanderer and trips on his own stones in Rishus HaRabim. And he said, Yafa Amar Eisei Chassid. The Chassid was right. What's happening in the Gemara? What's going on? Why is he right at the time? It makes sense what he was doing from his property. What's happening? It's Mivur. The Chovos HaLevavos writes this openly. The way we understand money, it's interesting. The Torah says, Ishes Kedoshav Lo Yiyeh. A man's truma, you own it. It's yours. Also, I own my truma. I thought you have to give it to the kohen. What is Lo Yiyeh? Says the Gemara, Toivus Hana. Doesn't mean you own it. It's Aser Ba'ana. You're not allowed to have any pleasure from truma. You can't eat it, drink it, sell it. You have Toivus Hana. You have a right to pick which kohen gets it. So why did Hashem say Ishes Kedoshav Lo Yiyeh? It's yours. It's very misleading. Bailus sounds like I do what I want with it. It's not mine. It's Mivur, the way a Yid sees Bailus. This is how we see everything we have. I'm amazed how Shlomo plays so generously his talent, but he clearly sees Bailus. Bailus means he decides who gets his voice, but it's meant for others. When Hashem gives us money, we view it as a bikadon, lent to us, and we get to decide where to use it. It was given to us for others. That's how a Yid views money. Ishes Kedoshav Lo Yiyeh. It's mamish yours. It's not different than anything else you own. Oh, you can't use it. Just means you have a right to decide where it goes. That's how Yidden view Bailus. To the point the Chassid said to the Yid, why you take, that's not your Rishus. Where you put it, that's what's yours. L'Rishush Elcha. How you use it, that's what's yours. Taivas Hana. Your right is to decide where it goes. You're handed it by Hashem. The Chayvus Alvavus writes, this is our view on possessions. They're precious and important. Money is crazy valuable, precious. Precious. Money, the older I get much more into money. Money is so important, very. Money is so good and important. Precious. Money is incredibly precious. Money is such a gift from Hashem. You could use it. You could buy your son a nice shirt, good pair of pants. You could buy something for your wife. Money is unbelievable. Money is a big thing. Hashem gives a Yid money. I think the more megushim a person is, the less they appreciate money. Because I think when you're very, very megushim, when you're very gashmiistic, so a person's very into physical, so they're very into body, and they see money as distant. The more we see ourselves as neshamas, so our body's amazing, a gift from Hashem, and our money's amazing. Money is a tremendous tool to use for beautiful things. And a Yid sees money, Taivas Hana, that it's put by us to decide where it goes. Could use it for beautiful purposes. Says the Chedushay Arim, the first time we got rich, it was lent to us because that was Hashem in His kindness was teaching us our attitude to money, that it's a pikadon by us. So it was given to us in such an eifin. That was the chesed, Hashem says the Chedushay Arim. That we got rechush gadol in the way you're supposed to get it. That's a pikadon by you. So we were able to relate to money. Of course, subsequently, the Mitzrayim died and it became ours, Bizas Hayam. But already the attitude towards mammon was something that's a pikadon by a person. It's placed by me. I'm the one holding it. And get to decide where it goes. And the generosity of our people, the kindness of a people that understands money, that understands that money is a gift from Hashem. Tzaddikim appreciate, Am Yisrael appreciates, and people use it wisely to build a beautiful Beis Knesses, to support a koilo, to support their mishpachas, to buy nice pants for their son, chesed, naira. Person could buy for his mishpacha. The Gemara calls people who work. The Gemara B'Metzia people calls Yidden who work. People are Eisik and Milas Chasadim, Kol Hayoim V'Chol Halayla. People credible Baalei Chasadim, that they're supporting a mishpacha, rizik, a chesed. But that's how we understand. The Yid understands money. Not the place of Mitzrayim, which is stuck, which is an ends, which is something, you have 100, you want 200, 400. No, you didn't have a healthy attitude to money. A tool, a gift from Hashem, was such that could be utilized for Kiddush Shamayim. And the Vayishalom, that it was lent to Am Yisrael. Amazing Chiddush Arim was to help us and assist us in understanding the purpose of gifts. Of course, that's all part of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is a place of stuck. Things don't have meaning. Mi Hashem, it's not limitless. And Yetzias Mitzrayim came along with such a beautiful, such a freeing attitude to money that it's become by me, meant to use to connect to Hashem. I'm Zeiche Nasi to God, and I'll close with this, then we'll sing. And I want Menachem Blisko to sing together with Shlomo. But I want to say that I'm Zeiche to be by many weddings, Meir. Baruch Hashem was chus, that I go to more weddings than most people I know. I go to a lot of weddings. A perk of the job, Baruch Hashem, I have a lot of friends that age, and I have the chus to go to many weddings. I'm fascinated at the making of the wedding. At the moment of the wedding, you take out a ring, and la halacha, that ring is not allowed to be expensive. Has to be cheap. And right before Kedushin, chasnas are crazy what's going on. It's like from the holiest mamadim, possible. Neshamas come to the weddings because it's not like a chiddush. Neshamas go to the holiest places. Usually Gan Eden, wherever there's like a lot of holiness, neshamas go. That's obvious. Neshamas go to holy. Neshamas come to the wedding, of course, obviously. It's a place you're not coming together, mishpachas. A man saying, I'm going to emotionally and physically take care of his wife. They're coming together, it's the holiest. The chassan's tish, I'm very proud in yeshiva, the chassan's tish are holy places. Very holy places. That it's not like a place to write a shtar, that's not the chassan's. It's a place to say dvarim of Yer Shemayim, to sing. I love the chassan's tish in yeshiva, it's a very holy moment. Singing, the people who run wedding halls, every wedding hall hires a nervous fellow, a wonderful guy who's more nervous. They see me, they're like, oh no. And I try to, no, we're going to do it. We're going to try to do this timely, but we're doing a chassan's tish. The chassan's tish is holy. The moments of the chassan's tish is mechilas avaynis for the chassan, for the kala. The Degel Machne Ephraim says for the Hoyri HaChassan, the parents of the kala, kol ha-nilvim, and everybody who joins in. There's not like cute. The Degel Machne Ephraim says there's no averis. Big tzaddikim tell Yidden who are struggling in Inyanei Kedusha to go to a chassan's tish. If you don't know the chassan, just go. Go to a wedding hall and sit at the chassan's tish. It's a very holy place. Very holy moment. You're preparing for the chuppah. Hachana for Inyan is bigger than the Inyan. Very holy times. It's interesting. If you watch a chassan, he's like dragged and pulled a lot. The nervous guys, run, come, go, pull. And while this is all going on, they're like the holiest things in the world happening. But that's how holy things of the Hester are hidden. And Beseda, that's how it is. But very, very holy, every minute by a chassan. Right before the chuppah, this holy moment that the Kedushin, husband and wife, shutfim with Hashem, right before the guy shows a ring, and the officiator looks at the ring, and he says, Pruta? Is it worth a penny? Now what's happening? So I'm going to tell you the halachic reason. Always understand, we're deep people. Always think, ask, wonder, don't just settle. So the official halachic reason is if it's an expensive ring, we're worried she's going to think that it's worth more than it is. Maybe she thinks it's diamond and it's really cubic zirconium. Did I say the word right? I think that's what it's called. But maybe she'll think it's real and it's not. So we don't want to mekach tois. That's the halachic reason. Now, I assure you there are deeper things. We could think of other plans. So make everybody do $20,000. Kiddushin, the whole, they're building a home, a Yiddish shtub, a home, mamish. They're making the holiest, from the holiest moments in this world, on a penny. We can't afford to do a pruta, a penny. It's like funny to me. Pruta, the whole question is like it's where the penny show the Edom. They look at it, they say, yeah, penny. We can't afford a little more. We couldn't figure out another solution. And the Inyan it's the Inyan of the whole world. That's what Kedusha is. That on a penny, on a drip, on a little. Reb Nachman brought this light to the world, the power of Ma'at. Don't think it needs big, thick Ma'at on a penny. The whole world, a person could sit down. We're here together with Fabrangi, Pruta. Nice cup of water, nice, I see there's good shalom there, Pruta. Little bit, Geschmack. And two Yidden share Dvar Torah. Two Yidden sing. Two Yidden encourage each other. Two Yidden talk together. On a little, the whole world, there's an attachment to Hashem. On a drip, you don't need to add, the whole Kedusha, a whole bias, a whole binyan of Kedusha comes from one penny, from a ma'at, from a drip. The value Hashem gives us, and we can mamish connect to Hashem. I like thinking about this on small things. Train yourself in little things. Say, pruta, penny, it's worth a penny. The Gra's last moments on this earth, he was holding his talus, and he was crying and saying, I'm leaving a world that for a few groschen, you can mamish serve Hashem, and he was feeling his tzitzis. It's funny, yeshiva guys like getting very thick strings. Shmak. I like also buy a pair of tzitzis with the thinnest, most measly strings. Once in a while, grab them and say pruta. From 1 penny, from a drink. Mamish shema'at, a little bit. Person a little bit, and it's kind of mamish connects to Hashem. It's eternal. There's no little in Ruchni. And the side of our world is from a pruta, from a drop. A person gives $1 to tzedakah, gave $1 to somebody else, pruta. Person mekadesh his man and learns for 5 minutes. I asked my son, he's part of a kollel, I begged him, none of the shmiras hasdarim stuff, nothing. Please no. I don't want 2 chavrusas guilting and you walk in and you're both shamed. Stop. I don't care. You're an hour late, 6 hours late. Sit at each other, hug, schmooze for a few minutes, and decide to learn a word of Torah. Say, maybe we should learn Hashem's Torah. When believe guilt, lachatz, pruta. You know what it means? 2 yidden learn Hashem's. Maybe learn for a few minutes. Imagine. Mamish, should we really learn? 2 yidden sit down. They learn Hashem's Torah. Mamish. I mean it real. They should learn Hashem's Torah. From a little bit, from a ma'at, from a drop, person connect to Hashem. Pruta, from a pruta, the whole bias. We're sitting here from a pruta. From a penny, from one little penny, and he hands, but he mamish means it. Sometimes you do too much. He hands her $1,000, maybe he only met 999 of it. On a pruta, he mamish, can you give her a pruta? Very surely, Yoni, you should give an isha a pruta. Mamish hand an isha. Shloimeh, this year you should hand an isha a pruta. But mamish mean it, you'll hand it, believe shalom, but mamish with your entire mitzeos. Here's a pruta, I want to hand this to you. 2 people band, and 2 people come together. And then to Hashem, maybe you'll sit down and you'll sing a zemer, but mamish. Maybe you'll learn a minute. Maybe you'll give $1 to tzedakah from a pruta menach. So all of us should be zeicha. This attitude to money, that it's a gift from Hashem. And it's meant that we could choose where to use it and how to use it, and use it in beautiful ways. Then the Yid takes it and uses it and connects to Bari Olam. Is worth everything in the world. The Taivas Hanah, the choice, a beautiful attitude, not an ends. Others view money as an ends. It's not how we view it. It's a chetemsa, it's a pekadon by a person. Person then could choose it and use it in a beautiful way. Take that pruta, it could be mekadesh and isha, could buy gefilte fish for Shabbos. Pella, a guy could really buy gefilte fish for Shabbos. Crazy. A guy could buy his child. It's crazy. He could buy his child a nice coat. It's a crazy world. Amazing chesed. Guy goes, he mamish could buy his son a coat. That's the biggest chesed giving Eltzvah. Buy his kid a coat. Mamish. Amazing. That's what Hashem gives somebody money. He could buy his child something. I want to say on the Lehrfeld, the Mishpacha, that with all their chesed, I watch how they are to Yehuda. I watch Yehuda's man. A mother to her son. That's the biggest chesed, the deepest, the most profound chesed. So Hashem should be mezaka all of us. Let us all be zeicha to the gifts that He gives us, all the gifts. Whether it's the Kadosh Migraincha, could be a beautiful voice. All the gifts Hashem gives us. The Alter of Nevardik had a very big simcha that he was good looking. He used his good looks to be Mekadosh Shemaim. All the gifts Hashem gives us should be zeicha to be cotton by a person. There's such good usages, such a freeing. That's exactly what we learned on the way out of Egypt. That our money is a pekadon, it's meant, it has a use. It's the opposite of a place of stuck. The money was lent to us. What a beautiful way of getting rechush gadol. That might be the biggest rechush we got, explains the Chiddushei Rim. That, of course, it became ours also, of course. But the attitude that it was lent to us, that it's a pekadon. Menachem, let's sing a little bit, but I do want to close. We sang the Barditcher the first time, but we were all standing. We'll have to end soon with the Barditcher. First, let's do one more song. But that you didn't have to hold hands. For you not to hold hands during the Barditcher Niggin, I find that weird, and I promised my kids I wouldn't be weird. So we'll get back to the Barditcher and we'll hold hands. Well, let's do which song? He always likes L'chal Marli. One more song, then we'll sing zusammen.
Sandy Rube and all of them. I work alongside Shlomi Tesher and Mayor Holland.
Keep going.